It's the Arch Advocate Show for Friday. Lot to get to today. We've got Norm McDonald to discuss, getting snubbed by Jimmy Fallon. We've got creepy porn lawyer on Tucker Carlson. Oh, God, I can't wait. And the recent meltdown, the revelation, a new video has come out of what actually happened at Google headquarters when it was found out that President Donald Trump had won the election and that Hillary had lost. This is very disturbing. And somehow, as I talk about all three of these things, I will tie it into what this actually means to you and to all of us in these strange times that we're living in. But first, have you ever had that experience where you were just doing your thing? Maybe you were driving down the road, listening to some tunes. Maybe you were at work and you were fiddling with stuff that you have to deal with every day, and all of a sudden, like an outpouring of a stream of consciousness, right? An epiphany, a revelation of something that you should have said in an argument days or weeks or even months before. Like it just hit you like what the perfect comeback would have been, and you regretted it so much that there's no such thing as time travel because you wanted to go back so bad to that exact moment and lay down your savage burn. Would have clinched the deal. How many times have you had that thought? I'm not here to talk to you about lamenting the fact that happens. I'm here to rejoice in the fact that did not happen last night. On Tucker Carlson, creepy porn lawyer Michael Avenatti, who evidently is going to make a presidential run here in about a year and some change. Michael Avenatti goes on to Tucker Carlson, and for the rest of this segment, I will not be referring to him as Michael Avenatti. I will be referring to him as creepy porn lawyer. CPL, baby, CPL. So he goes on Tucker Carlson. Now, the thing about Avenatti, I don't like this guy. This guy seems like the kind of person that would try to bully just about anybody, right? Like, if you want to have a normal conversation with this guy, you're going to have to prove your dominance by knocking the dude on his ass. And then help him up and be like, okay, now you understand the rules. Like, here's how you're going to speak to me. You're going to continue to speak respectfully, or I will knock you on your ass again, right? Like, he just seems like that kind of guy that like his mode of operation is just trying to push people around. And guys like that need to be knocked on their ass. And the thing is like, because this guy is a lawyer, he knows like people aren't going to knock him on his ass because he'll sue him, right? That's like, he's like to that level of a piece of garbage. You know what I mean? He likes to bully people around and be a tough guy because he knows, he's like a woman. You know what I mean? You know how a woman will keep talking trash and keep provoking you, whatever, because she knows like she's not going to get hit, right? That's why men are a lot more respectful to one another, because it's like, I know if I disrespect this guy, very, very realistically, this guy's going to punch me in the face. So I have to then measure out, like, is this worth me getting punched in the face? Maybe it is, but most likely, 99 times out of 100, you're going to be like, no, I think I'm just going to keep the tone civil. He's not that kind of guy. But this savage burn that Tucker lays down, man, you know that old saying, the old adage, the old, the old saying, the old proverb, you can't cuck the tuck, man. So Avenatti, he's losing ground in this debate going back and forth with him. Right? He keeps trying to dominate the conversation by like, I'm here to talk about my presidential run. Tucker's like, dude, we want to talk about the fact that you're representing a porn star who is getting denied access to greasy, seedy, dirty strip clubs that she's trying to work in because she needs money. And here you are wearing a $5,000 suit. She's getting rejected from working the pole. Dirty old whore. And so they go back and forth, and so Michael Avenatti has this brilliant idea. He's got this burn in mind, and he's going to lay it down, and he says to Tucker, man, You seem to have quite an obsession with porn, man. You seem to have quite an obsession with porn, man. Oh, when was the last time you saw porn? Right? And Tucker Carlson, right? In that moment, Tucker Carlson jumped into his time machine, went forward a couple of months, and met himself and said, what would be the perfect response? What would be the most savage burn ever? And future Tucker Carlson then tells present Tucker Carlson, and he gets back in the time machine, goes back to that exact same moment, and comes back and says, oh, you busted me. Actually, maybe humiliation porn. That's why I watch you on CNN. Shame on you. Shame on you. Burn. Savage burn. I have never, that was the perfect thing. There will never, Tucker Carlson will never experience that feeling in the future of looking back and thinking, oh, if I just would have said X. No, sir. Tucker Carlson gets to go to sleep peacefully tonight, knowing that he laid down the most savage burn. Oh, you busted me. Actually, I am into porn. Humiliation porn. That's why I watch you on CNN. Boom! It was just wonderful. It was it was epic. Just the most perfect words came to the forefront of his mind, and he laid them down. Creepy porn lawyer. And the thing about this guy is that whether you like it or not, he is a representation of something that is in all of us, right? The fact that he's there, the fact that he does what he does and behaves the way he behaves is a representation of who we all are as a society. Now, before you hang up, you know what I'm saying? Before you hit stop or erase on this podcast or whatever, let me finish this thought. Now, I'm not saying that there's things about Michael Avenatti, creepy porn lawyer, CPL, that are similar to you, right? I don't behave like CPL, neither do you. But what I am saying is that there's the fact that he is in the news, right? That he is making a presidential run, that is a societal problem. And if it's a problem of mine, you see what I'm saying? It is your problem. It is my problem. It is our problem that this guy exists in the form that he exists in, right? It's a representation of what we have become and what we permit as a society. That's a problem. How do you fix that problem? Well, I think the easiest way to answer that is to, raise your kids, right? Don't divorce your wife. Raise your kids. Make sure that your children are not just well educated, but that they are thinkers, that they are people who read books and read different sorts of books and have some sort of a method that they enjoy to come to conclusions with. Because it's a hard world, man. It's a hard, ugly, just beat down of a life. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard. There's a rumor in this town that I'm in today that a 23-year-old kid, and this, by the way, I'm in a very small village. There's within, 20 square miles, there's probably 10,000 people there. It's very small. There was a rumor, I didn't look into it, but a 23-year-old kid evidently ended his own life yesterday in this town. And I just think, man, what a shame. 23? What problems could you possibly, how did you come to the conclusion of you're just gonna end it? Okay, if you're done with your life, fine, I'm all for throwing it away. But you can throw your life away and then just go live another one. Start over again, man. You know what I mean? It's never over. And you know what I mean? You can try to be a better person. You know what I mean? Why? I mean, I'm not laughing. I'm sorry for laughing. I mean, it's tragic. But the point is man, raise your kids. You know what I mean? Teach your kids. Let your kids know that, hey, man, this is hard. It is, there's going to be many times in your life where you shake your fist at the sky and say, I didn't ask to be born, man. I don't like all these problems because it's never ending, you know what I mean? But you get through it. And you get to the point, to the next thing where you receive joy for your accomplishments, or joy for the love that you have, or joy for whatever it is. You know what I mean? You have to get to that next point because it makes it all worth it. And then you look back on the tragic thing that you just went through and you realize, like, I learned. I grew. I was emboldened. I was strengthened by that. That's how you keep your kids from turning into a creepy porn lawyer and being on TV for being a creep. You know what I mean? But anyways, Savage Burn by Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, congratulations on saying the most perfect words. Actually, I'm into humiliation porn. That's why I watch you on CNN. Boom! All right. I love it. I love it. Now, I want to talk about Norm McDonald. All right. Now, this is, you would think that this really wouldn't be a problem. You know, this has nothing to do with you. Right? Norm McDonald's just some, famous guy that you're never going to meet. He makes jokes, whatever. But allow me to beg to differ, if you will. Little history on Norm McDonald. By the way, I recommend to you, after you're done going on to my YouTube channel, go on to, and hitting subscribe and the bell icon, that if you would go on to a channel called I'm Not Norm, right? I'm Not Norm is the name of the channel. Some guy just puts together and edits all just clips of Norm McDonald. That's all it is. And they're hilarious, right? Norm McDonald is a genius. And if you don't know who Norm McDonald is, he was once on a television show in America called Saturday Night Live. Perhaps you've heard of it. And he was the news anchor for Saturday Night Live. They have a segment, a news segment every episode. And he was that guy. And he would say, back when he was on Saturday Night Live, the United States was going through a very traumatic experience in the sense that one of our heroes, one of our most beloved citizens, had murdered his wife and her boyfriend. O.J. Simpson was one of the most beloved figures in like American popularity, right? He was a running back for the Buffalo Bills for a lot of years. Like he was a Heisman Trophy winner. He just encompassed everything that was good and right in the American spirit, right? Then he was doing movies, the Naked Gun movies with Leslie Nielsen. You know what I mean? Like he was a beloved figure. And then all of a sudden, his wife and her boyfriend ended up with their heads cut off, basically, their throats slit, on his property. And I mean, there was a lot that went into it, but like all of the evidence stacked up that he did it, and everybody knew it. Everybody could see because it was very televised. It was on the radio. It was on television. There was no internet at the time, so you have to understand that like the way people took their information was either television or radio or newspaper, and only those three, right? And everything, all of the evidence said he did it. But the problem is that he was a transcendent figure. He was above us, right? He was not just famous, but he was beloved. You can't have a fair trial if everybody knows who you are, right? The way that our judicial system works is if you have a trial by jury, then the jury is 12 people who are your equals, your peers, and who have absolutely no opinion about you either way because they've never heard of you. They don't know you. They don't know what you think. They don't know what kind of man you are or woman. You know what I mean? But once you've reached that beloved status, you cannot have a fair trial. It's just impossible. That's why we have a different set of rules for the president of the United States. I mean, we don't charge the president with crimes. We impeach them for crimes. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the main reasons why is because It's like, well, you're too famous. Like, everybody knows who you are, so we have to have a different system that most resembles, the first system of, fair and impartial and all that other stuff. Anyways, Norm McDonald was the guy on the news on Saturday Night Live, and he absolutely would not take his foot off of the gas making jokes about how O.J. Simpson had murdered his wife and her boyfriend. And his boss kept coming to him. I mean, his big boss, not Lorne Michaels, the guy who runs Saturday Night Live, but the head of NBC, was friends with O.J. Simpson, right? Because he was the head of NBC, and O.J. Simpson was one of the most beloved people in America, so, they all know each other. And so the head of NBC kept saying to Norm, like, you have to stop making these jokes. That's my friend. I've got his back, and you can't be making these jokes. But Norm McDonald's like, well, I'm an artist, and I make jokes, and I will make jokes about whatever the hell I want to make jokes about. And because of that, because he took that stand, he was fired. Fired. As in, no more income. Right? This is a guy's life. You know what I mean? Like, he's made his bones, he's paid his price, being a traveling stand-up comedian and going, doing all the shitty bar rooms and all the horrible things that comedians have to go through to get famous. Well, he did all that, and that's what got him on Saturday Night Live. And now he's got money, and he can pay for nicer things, and he's got a nicer car, and he's eating better meals, and he's flying first class, and he's got a proper apartment and nice clothes and this sorts of thing. Like, he's earning an income based on his art, based on the rewards of his hard work in his art. And some guy comes along and says, I don't like your art, therefore I'm going to take away your money. That's pretty severe, wouldn't you say? You know what I mean? Like, whether you like the guy or not, it's like, you're going to take away my man's livelihood? That's pretty severe. And it was news. When Norm McDonald was fired, it was big. Well, not big news like, big, but I mean, it was national news. Certainly, that's big enough. It's bigger than any news I'll ever be on. You know what I mean? Big news. And so you would think that, when that happened, the community in comedy, like all the comedians, they all had Norm's back. They all came to Norm McDonald's defense. They were like, whoa, this is, like, he's a comedian. You have to respect the work, Like Lenny Bruce, Lenny Bruce was a very important comedian. But if you go back and listen to Lenny Bruce, it's like, man, this guy's just an angry anger monger. You know what I mean? Like, he's just an angry guy. I don't like it. But the fact is, he was an important figure. You can't silence the guy, even though, like, even me, I don't like what that guy had to say about really anything at all. But I certainly wouldn't try to silence him or take his money away from him. It's like, well, I mean, if you think it's important to tell these, rude jokes, well, okay, whatever, You can't be silencing people's voices, and you certainly cannot use that kind of power. Like, if you're the head of NBC, you can't be taking away people's livelihoods because he's making jokes about your buddy. And you would think that, given the response that was unanimous in the comedy world, that they would have Norm McDonald's back forever. Well, anyways, fast forward to just last week. Norm McDonald is starting a new show. I don't know where his new show is going to be, Showtime or something like that. It's an interview show. And he's had interview shows in the past, and they're very funny. He's a very funny guy. And he just makes crazy observations. Like, when you hear his jokes, you're like, oh, crap. Like, I would never have thought to put those two things together and make a joke out of it, He's got a new show coming up. Norm McDonald is one of the most respected, one of them, and I'm talking like top 3. Like Jerry Seinfeld, Norm McDonald, and I don't know, Jay Leno. You know what I mean? Like, these are just, they're made men. They're done. You know what I mean? Like, they've got all the juice. They don't have to ask for anything anymore because you know what I mean? They're respected. So he's got this new show coming out, and he's doing his rounds to promote it. He's going on different talk shows to talk about his show. He's going on different podcasts to talk about his show, to promote it, so that he can get views, and therefore those views turn into advertising dollars, and he gets to make money. That's how it works. So a fellow comedian, Jimmy Fallon, who also worked on Saturday Night Live, right? This is somebody who is supposed to be Norm McDonald's brother. Brother. Like blood. Invites him onto his show to come promote his new interview show. And then Norm McDonald makes a few comments about, you know, I don't really understand this Me Too movement, and it just, you know, it seems like there's a lot of people getting blamed for things that they didn't do, and I don't understand how you're saying, like, you need to believe all women, and then, oh, you just need to believe one woman, and then, oh, you just can't ask any questions about a woman whatsoever. He's like, I don't understand that. That doesn't sound just to me. I'm loosely, you know, translating here, but that's basically what he said. Which is, you know, I'm sure that's a very unpopular opinion in some circles, but it's not like he's some weirdo. There's a lot of us who are looking at that going, yeah, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You people are talking nonsense. And that's what he said. And because of that, his brother, a fellow Saturday Night Live alumnus, a fellow comedian, refused to have Norm McDonald on his show. What does that mean? It means that Norm McDonald can't go on his show and promote the new Norm McDonald show. Therefore, you know, not having as many more views as he would have gotten, therefore affecting his income. He's got an opinion that you don't like, and so you're going to try to take money away from this guy? Why? Is that the world? Is that your utopia that you're looking to live in? Starve out the people that you don't like? Because you don't like them. Because you don't like them. Well, who the F are you? He's not up there saying we need to put the Jews into their own camps and systematically exterminate them. You know what I mean? Like, you want to take Norm McDonald's money away from him. And you are his brother. You're a fellow comedian. You're a fellow Saturday Night Live alumnus. To hell with you, Jimmy Fallon. I am squarely in the Norm McDonald camp on this one. Now, again, you might think, like, well, what does this have to do with me, man? How does this affect me directly? It's like, well, that's the world that we're living in now. And you're going to have to make a stand. You're going to have to figure out which side of that you're on. You know what I mean? I can count, you know, with two hands, because, yes, I count with my fingers. Anyways, I could probably recount to you the times in my lifetime when I have laughed so hard that I cried. You know what I mean? Like, I could probably recall every single time that's happened to me in my life. Right? I love laughing, but I don't laugh a lot. It takes like the perfect storm to get me to laugh, you know, to where it's like uncontrollable and I'm in danger of pissing my pants, right? And one of the times that's happened, so anytime that happens, the reason I said that is anytime that happens to me, I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful because it happens so rarely, and when it happens, it's like, it feels like that feeling like moments just after sex. You know what I mean? It's just like a complete release of tension and you know what I mean? Once I'm done laughing that hard, it's like, man, I could just take a nap. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, oh, I've let go of all of my stress. So anytime I laugh that hard, if it's because of a comedian or something that I saw, I'm grateful to that person for making me laugh. And one of those times was Jimmy Fallon when they were doing the Debbie Downer episode with what was that girl's name? She's always on drugs and she's always like making a mess out of her life, but she's really pretty. Whatever. But they were doing a Debbie Downer episode. And the thing is that Jimmy Fallon couldn't stop laughing because of the things that Debbie Downer was saying. And because of his laughter, I was laughing, and I was laughing so hard that tears were rolling down my face and I was having trouble breathing. You know what I mean? Like, Jimmy Fallon was important to me. I was grateful to Jimmy Fallon because he made me laugh that hard, and it hurts me to see. It's like, dude, Jimmy, Norm McDonald, he is your elder brother, and you have to have his back unless he, like, physically harms something or someone. You know what I mean? I mean, there is a line. But clearly he didn't cross it. Clearly stating, like, I don't understand how women, these Me Too women are coming out saying, well, you need to just believe me no matter what I say, and we're going to scrap due process in our country because women need to be believed no matter what. It's like, that's not how our law works. That's not how our society works. We don't do that. People go to prison unjustly because of that very same concept. We're not doing that. That is not permissible grounds to turn your back on your own brother. Right? Certainly there's a line. Certainly there's a line. Like if you kill your wife and her boyfriend by severing their jugular vein to such a degree that their head almost completely comes off, yes, that's a line. And if you do that, then if you are my brother, if you do that, I will turn my back on you. You know what I mean? If of course, if it's proven that you did it. Or at least if it's proven to me that you did it. But, don't disrespect the game, because nothing good can come from... When I talk about cryptocurrencies and these companies and these sorts of things, it's like, it's not... I'm very hopeful for the cryptocurrency market, right? But the fact is that all of the salespeople that I've seen in the cryptocurrency market are shysters. And I love salesmanship. I love the sales industry. I love salespeople. And when I see salespeople lying to other people and cutting corners and not using their craft and not disciplining themselves and not reading books and practicing what those books teach, it's like, dude, you're disrespecting the game. If you work hard and if you're honest and you shoot straight with people, you can have as much money as you want, and you should have that money. But the minute you start omitting facts or lying to people or cutting corners or being lazy, it's like, dude, you're not only damaging your own soul, and you will pay a price for that, by the way, but you are damaging the economy of the United States. When you put somebody into an an adjustable rate mortgage loan, ARM, adjustable rate mortgage, that's what caused the meltdown of 2008. That was one of the things. It was one of the major things. Is that there were all these people in the business world. I'm sorry, in the world of people buying homes. But in the business world, in the mortgage industry, there were mortgage brokers now had this new instrument that they could use called an adjustable rate mortgage. And the rules were like, you didn't have to tell the home buyer like anything about that loan. You did not have to tell them that their interest rate could go from the 2% that it was at to 12%, and it could do it overnight. You were not legally compelled to tell those people. They knew it, but, well, the law doesn't say I have to say it, so I guess I won't say it. It's like, dude, not only are you a piece of garbage for doing that, but you're going to hurt everybody involved, and you're even going to hurt people who were not involved at all. And it turned out that because of that lack of ethics and that lack of hard work, and disrespecting the sales game, the whole world was put into pain because of that. The whole world. Can you imagine that? Because these salespeople didn't have the balls to sit down with their client and say, look, if this adjustable rate mortgage, if it adjusts, it goes up, your monthly payment will quadruple in size, and it can do it overnight. But I'm not going to tell you that because I need to get my little money. I need this $3,000 commission because there's a pair of shoes I really want. Because my girlfriend is super hot and therefore super expensive. I just need my little cheese, man. And because of that, the whole world was affected by the mortgage crisis of 2008. From that one concept, from salespeople not doing their damn job, it angers me. It angered me back then. It's like, dude, you people are why salespeople have a bad name. Jimmy Fallon, you are why people are no longer, you know what I mean? Like, you disrespected the game. You didn't have the back of your brother. You didn't have the balls to stand up and say, listen, I heard what he said. I don't agree with it, but my man's got a show coming up. You disrespected the game, and it's going to hurt everybody. I could sit here and try to, go into more excruciating detail, but I hope that I've made that connection. Like, take a stand, is what I'm saying. And when you see people that don't take a stand, don't associate yourself with those people, right? Because they're bad. They hurt everything in their path, right? Anyways, I am squarely in the Norm McDonald camp. Moving on to the Google meltdown. Now listen, in case you haven't seen it, there is video footage now about what went on at Google when President Trump won. The reason that we have this footage is a result of lawsuits. A legal demand for that information. Listen, the election was a long time ago, right? It was almost 2 years ago. And we're just now getting this footage. Why, you know what I mean? How come we're just getting it now? Well, because people had to sue to get it. So I strongly recommend that you peruse it for yourself. These are people that work at Google that are completely distraught. They're literally weeping on television. Now you could say, well, Pete, so what? There's a lot of weaklings in the world. True. That's very true. Point taken. But all the weaklings in the world don't run the most powerful company in the world. Information is power, and all information goes through Google. No matter what you do, I mean, there's some of you guys that use Bing and whatever, but come on, yeah, we're all using Google. Just admit it, right? And the fact that those people are so against how our system works with the Electoral College and the fact that Trump won, it's like that is a demonstration that these people will do anything just to win their cause, regardless of what the will of the people actually is. They just want to be right. They just want to feel right. Those people have absolutely no concern about your political will. Theirs is the only concern. You should go and watch that video because this is who we are up against. The world is being taken over right now by weaklings. They are in complete control of Google because it's their company. It belongs to them. And they are weak. And they are right now making decisions to circumvent your not just your right to speak, but your right to hear. We've seen, like in the deplatforming of Alex Jones, he was taken off of Amazon. Google has shut him down. You know what I mean? Like, this guy they've done everything that they can to erase this guy out of the digital footprint, if you will. I can't think of the right phrase that I'm looking for there, but they're trying to digitally erase him. You can say, well, Pete, I'm just like you. I don't care about Alex Jones. I never listened to Alex Jones in my life except for clips, on YouTube clips or whatever. I never tuned into his show. Yeah, me neither. But it's not just him. He's not the only one. In fact, there are hundreds of people that companies like Twitter, Facebook, Google, and Amazon have erased. Amazon has already taken to erasing digital books. Now, I'm not one to go around calling people Nazis, but when you start destroying books, that's actually something the Nazis did, right? These leftists run around calling everybody Nazis. It's like, well, Nazi how? Did I burn books? Did I say that I wanted to exterminate the Jews? Did I say that only the race of people that come from the Caucasus Mountains should be allowed to live? No, I didn't say any of those things. So I'm not a Nazi because I don't do anything that Nazis did. What did Nazis do? Oh, they burned books. They destroyed books. Now Amazon is destroying books, only digitally. There's no smoke, there's no flame, so you can't see it. But it is irrefutable that Amazon has destroyed books. It is irrefutable that Jack Dorsey, who looks like a complete unstable pharmaceutical drug addict, has banned people from his platform. And now you go watch this thing on Google. You go watch how those people reacted, and you ask yourself, what could possibly go wrong with people like that? And to my leftist friends, Sam, you think it's good. You're laughing all the way. Oh yeah, suck it, Alex Jones. That's what you're saying. Yeah, man, we have people that are powerful too. We're gonna get you, evil Republicans. Okay. Is there any sequence of events where this very same concept turns around on you? Does power have a habit of shifting? Is there any sort of precedent, I don't know, like, let's just say in some bizarre dimension of the universe that Democrats are in office for eight years, and then Republicans are in office for 8 years after that, and then Democrats take back control for 8 years, and then Republicans take back control for 8 years. Is there any sort of, I don't know, is there any sort of historical precedent for that? Does power have a habit of shifting, going from one side to the other? You laugh it up right now, fuzzball. Yuck it up. Oh, yeah, Alex Jones, a weird conspiracy theorist turning frogs gay. Yeah, screw that guy. Okay, really? Okay, all right. Any sequence of events that you can foresee where this very same concept by the very same companies, Google, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Amazon, you think Jack Dorsey's going to live forever? Jeff Bezos? Those people in charge over at Google, you think they're just, do you think 60 years from now those people are still going to be alive and in running those companies? Any possibility that new people are going to come in and run those companies? Do you know who those people are? Do you have, is there any possible way that the paradigm will shift, and in the future it won't be Alex Jones getting silenced, it'll be the Young Turks, it'll be CNN, it'll be Bernie Sanders being shadow banned on Twitter? Can you see any possible way that happens? No? Well, then you're blind and you don't know history. People, we have all got to stand up for this. You have to appeal, like your leftist friends, you have to appeal to them that they need to fight for Alex Jones, right? You need to frame it in that context, like, look, this thing with Alex Jones, I don't like him either, but do you really want these companies setting a precedent where they go unchecked and they silence people's voices? They take away their right to speak, and they take away your right to hear. Well, what if he starts saying that he needs to kill the Nazis? Or, I'm sorry, kill the Jews. If somebody is out there spouting out that they want to kill the Jews, we need to make sure that we can hear them. Because if we can't hear them, then we can't identify them, and then we cannot take care of the problem. And that's what you need to present to your friends, because again, like, it all ties in. And if you can't see that, and if your friends can't see that, like if you have leftist friends, like if they can't see that, like, we're in for it. You need to call your congressperson, write your congressman an email or a text message or whatever. You need to let them know, like, this thing, Google these companies, there needs to be some sort of, that needs to be put into the realm of either like public utility or, you know, protected like the mail is. You know what I mean? Like free speech and you know, trying to use your platform to manipulate people's ideas so that they vote the way that you want them to vote. Like that's a very dangerous thing, and it's not just dangerous for us, like the conservatives right now. It's like, hey, dear liberal, do you understand that in history, throughout all of history, power they're like ocean waves, man. It ebbs and flows. Right now you have it in Google. Someday you won't. It's just like I've referenced it before in 2013. The Democrats wanted to push something through, and they didn't want the Republicans filibustering it because they were losing power very rapidly. So what they did with the little power that they had left is they changed the filibuster rules so that the Republicans couldn't filibuster it. And there were Democrats at the time that said, listen, you guys, we're not going to be in power forever. If you change this rule, when the Republicans return to power, they're going to use this against us. And people were like, oh, no. No, that's not the way power works. Sure enough, as soon as the Republicans regained power and the Democrats wanted to filibuster something, the Republicans said, oh no, haven't you heard? Power has shifted, and you set this rule. You see how that works? You see how this screwed you right in the cornhole? You know what I mean? Think it through. Anyways. Final thought. Hey, Germans, dear Germany, with your particular history, you know, because you do have this one black mark on the history of your nation. I don't know if you've heard about it. But with your particular history, are you certain you want to be importing, like paying to import people into your country who hate Jews, given your particular history? Not smart. That's the show for today. If you want to support the show, I would appreciate it because this show costs money, yo. Takes dough if you want to flow. You can go onto archadvocate.com and write me a message. Write me an email message, and I will respond to it. And if you want to support the show with dough, you can go on to PayPal or Patreon or whatever you want. Throw me a couple of shekels. It's up to you, man, whatever you want to do. But I certainly appreciate it. And if you do, I will talk about you on this podcast, therefore making you famous in front of all your friends. That's the show for today, and I will talk to you next week. Have a great weekend, folks.